And now, it's Coast View with Ricky Mathews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota, Gulf Coast Business Supply, and AGJ Systems and Networks on SuperTalk 103.1 FM.
Welcome to Coast View, the show that celebrates the men and women who are making coastal Mississippi such an amazing place to live, work, and play. Thanks for listening on 103.1, or maybe you're listening live at Facebook Live or YouTube Live or your favorite podcast later, but we're whenever you want to come in contact with Coast View and celebrate coastal Mississippi. And man, do we enjoy celebrating coastal Mississippi here. We actually have a really special show for you today. As if you're a regular listener, you know that I am drawn to the arts community of coastal Mississippi. And man, we're so lucky to have not only the ability to celebrate historic artists here in coastal Mississippi, whether it be George Orr or the Anderson family, the Walter Anderson Museum. We talk about that a lot, or the Peter Anderson Festival and all the Beautifuls Festival. We have a lot to be thankful for here in this community, but we have a lot of thriving artists that are doing their thing every single day and inspiring us in so many different kinds of ways. And that's what this show is going to be about today. But I wanted to circle back for a second because a couple of days ago, I shared with you a story that was in Southern Living magazine. And the headline for the story said that coastal Mississippi is back, and now's the time to visit these beautiful towns. I love the way it said it. And then, of course, the story then goes on to sort of take you on a tour and talk to people here in coastal Mississippi. Has a great video that accompanies it that is really terrific. But it goes from Ocean Springs to Bay St. Louis and points in between. It talks to a lot of Coast View friends, and what it says is about our resurgence from Katrina, the work that we've done to sort of re-envision and to step it up. And essentially it says that we've arrived. This collection of communities that make up coastal Mississippi has arrived. And as you know, I have always seen coastal Mississippi as this collection of communities. And it says that the towns in the area have redrawn the future since Hurricane Katrina. And the video says that, the shipyard is humming and artists are flocking to Bay St. Louis and Ocean Springs, and boutique hotels are appearing on the waterfronts, and restaurant scene is exploding. You have MGM Park and Mississippi Aquarium and attractions like Oral Keefe Museum and the Walter Anderson Museum. And I mean, it just goes on. And when you read it, you have a lot of pride for coastal Mississippi. But in the story, it interviews one of our guests today. And it's Steve Barney, the executive director of the arts in Hancock County. And, what he says, it really helps you have a strong sense that not only have the artists that were displaced come back, but this thriving community just continues to, I always say, kind of feed off itself and not only bring people who appreciate the arts, but bring more artists. I think in some respects, and especially as it relates to Hancock County, the pandemic and the impact on New Orleans caused a lot of people from New Orleans to sort of flock into the Hancock County area. And people are discovering, all of our small towns here in coastal Mississippi. And, it's great to have an opportunity to visit with someone like Steve Barney, because you really get a sense of the passion that he has. I'll also mention to you that Steve's going to be joining us, and then we'll have a wonderful visit from some artists that are involved in projects. And I look forward to introducing them along the way as well. So without any further ado, let me turn to my friend Steve Barney. He's the executive director of the arts in Hancock County, and he's also actually a very talented guy himself. He's the founder of what is called the Steampunk Pottery Project, and we'll talk more about that as well. But good morning to you, Steve. How you doing, buddy?
Morning, Ricky. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. You had to have been thrilled to see that Southern Living story.
Yeah, over the last couple of years, we've had a lot of national media attention, but this Southern Living article, it was really well researched. They interviewed everybody on the coast, and I was very humbled to be included with the other folks interviewed and be able to talk about everything that's happening over here in Bay St. Louis and Hancock County, and how the arts is helping drive so much of this funky little arts town.
Well, art was always a big deal in Bay St. Louis. And I remember going to the charrettes after Hurricane Katrina, and talking about how important it was to sort of revitalize that part of the community, that we needed to replant that seed and create an opportunity for them to come back. And obviously it was really kind of the basic needs in the beginning. It was, make it so that kids could go back to school, make it so they would have a place to stay, make it so that their economic contributions and their ability to make a living could come back. It took time. But what was really cool is that sort of the citizens of the community, and I say this about Bay St. Louis, but I also say this about Waveland or Diamond Head or anywhere in Hancock County. The heavy lift that they had to do after Katrina was really dynamic, and leaving was really never an option. Some people had to leave temporarily, but they came back. But when you look back now, it took time, but boy, have we arrived at a very special place, and it's great to see magazines like Southern Living Magazine take note of it. But we have arrived at a very special place, haven't we, Steve?
Yeah, we sure have. Bay St. Louis was this funky little arts town before the storm, and as you mentioned, Ricky, the infrastructure, the rebuilding from the ground up, lots of stuff had to be done to make this place livable. But what ended up happening was the artists that were displaced to Houston and other places, they came back, but then lots of folks like myself discovered Bay St. Louis, discovered the area after Katrina, and there was this magic, and we feel drawn to be here. And there's hundreds of us from across the United States who have now made this our home. And as you say, that the creative economy, all the activity, how art and culture integrates in with everything going on our little coastal town is just magnificent.
Yeah, we talk about the creative economy on this show a lot as it relates to the new economy. It could be an artist. It could be a graphic artist. It could be an engineer, an architect. It could be a writer. And one of the things that I think is a part of our economic future, part of our success in the future, part of our quality of life in the future, is that we're building the kind of communities that people want to live, work, and play in. So they're walkable communities, and they can live, work, and play in that same area. That's why mixed-use communities are so popular. But if you had to define a community that really fits that description, certainly Bay St. Louis is thriving. You see Waveland beginning to make positive steps, but it's exciting. And as executive director of the arts in Hancock County, you see the role you play to help sort of keep it organized and moving forward and thriving, and sort of open to what the next step might be, because in the art community, you sort of never know where it's headed, do you?
No, we don't. But we have this cadre of over 300 working artists, and we've got all these galleries and shops, and it all works together. There's lots of things going on behind the scenes that artists are involved with promoting businesses. Everything we're doing in the arts community at the Arts Hancock County is working closely with the Old Town Merchants Association in Old Town, working with Lazy Magnolia up in the Kill, as you say, lots of projects. And, Studio Waveland and Diamond Head is these world-class sculptors and glass artists, Erica and Mitchell Godet. So, yeah, there's just this critical mass, Ricky.
It is. It's really exciting. And by the way, tell me real quick, what is Steampunk Pottery Project, and tell me about masquerading as the Mad Potter.
Well, okay, so when I first discovered the Orr O'Keefe Museum of the Art in Biloxi, the beautiful Frank Erie campus, got really drawn to learning all about George Orr, the Mad Potter, and everyone knows about his famous mugs and how thin they are and his kind of crazy designs. But I really became enamored, Ricky, with this story of him using pottery is performance art, and he was the self-proclaimed greatest potter in the world, and he went around to festivals and exhibitions putting on this kind of vaudeville show. And I immersed myself in George Orr so much, read everything I could, watched every documentary, and George Orr came to me in a dream. Honest to God, Ricky, he came to me in a dream, and he told me to carry on his tradition. In that dream, I visualized this crazy contraption, this steampunk contraption made out of belts and pulleys and mannequin arms. And I actually have a climbing harness, allows me to hang upside down. If you Google upside down pottery, you'll see some amazing videos. So this has become a vehicle inspired by George Orr for me to promote the arts, but more importantly, the STEAM and steampunk is a way to integrate art into STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. I have an engineering background. I quit my career as an engineer to pursue art full time, but we're using pottery as a way to teach the next generation of kids about science and engineering.
That's so exciting. And, I talk about this often, but this sort of coming together, this whimsical potter and George Orr with this whimsical architect and Frank Gehry, it seemed like it's just this wonderful marriage. And as publisher of the Sun Herald, I supported that project from its very inception to where it is today. I love what it stands for in terms of putting coastal Mississippi on an international map in a lot of ways. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk about a really exciting festival that's coming up, and we're going to be joined by a series of artists that we want to introduce to you. The first one up will be Madden, and we'll see you after this break.
Coast View on SuperTalk 103.1 is brought to you by J. Allen Toyota on I-10 exit 38 Gulfport. See all the incredible inventory at allentoyota.com. And remember, when you think Toyota, think J. Allen Toyota.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
From outer space, visitors from another world. We've had contact with bug-eyed monsters.
This is actually a flying saucer.
Flying saucer?
I'm from another planet.
Where late nights are kind of weird.
Well, they must have a reason for their visit.
The unexplained, the weird, and the downright creepy. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Late nights. SuperTalk Mississippi. If Alexa's part of your life, you've got one more way to access SuperTalk. SuperTalk Mississippi is now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Once enabled, just say, Alexa, play SuperTalk Mississippi at any time and start listening. It's that easy. Just one more way to stay informed and connected with your state. Learn more at supertalk.fm/Alexa. SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi. Now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen. Okay. Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, CasinoRadio1063.com.
His love for the coast is why he's here. It's Coast View with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast View, and Steve Barney has joined us. He is the executive director of the arts in Hancock County, and one of the things you mentioned actually is making mugs for the Lazy Magnolia. I think the world of Mark Henderson. He's been on the show many times, and I think we think about you sort of having this this Mad Potter kind of thing that you do, and how you understand it and how it's related to STEM, etc. You can't help but think about Mark Henderson. Here's this guy who's got the first brewery in Mississippi, but he has all these like sophisticated radar technology patents, and he's just a really smart guy. He's a right brain and a left brain kind of guy operating simultaneously, and he's a leader in our tourism community, and we're really lucky to have him. Okay, Steve, coming back to you for a second, tell us about the upcoming event that's coming up.
Well, so the Mississippi Arts Commission was struggling with, how to deal with the COVID situation, the reemergence from COVID, because we're very much hands-on people. We're very much into experiences, working with people face to face. And so the Mississippi Arts Commission put out this community impact grant. They actually had 70 applications for it, and we were only one of 8 sites across the entire state of Mississippi. Of course, Julian and the Walter Anderson Museum got one of the grants. They produced a wonderful event last week, but we got this grant, and really the idea for this, the inspiration, was inspired by Ann Madden, who's with us today. Ann has played a leadership role in the arts Hancock County for forever, really kind of working behind the scenes. Ann is that person who is making everything happen, who's produced working with her partner Sandy Maggio at the Smith & Lens Gallery. They're the ones that produced the Frida Fest, the Dolly Should Festival, and Ann's just been working tirelessly behind the scenes. And Ann and I have always seen the opportunity to integrate public art. The term we use is, Ricky, is creative placemaking. That's a fancy way of saying using art to bring people together. So, Ann had this inspiration. I'd love for her to share a little bit about her experience, the inspiration for this wall-to-wall public art festival we're doing. It's on June 5th and 6th in Bay St. Louis and other locations across Hancock County. Again, funded by the Mississippi Arts Commission. We're going to be painting murals on buildings all across Old Town.
Yeah, so let's bring Ann in. Good morning, Ann. Hope you're doing well this morning. You do photographs and mixed media art yourself, but obviously you're a visionary as well. So first of all, welcome to Coast View. How you doing today?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
It's great to see you. Looks like you're at some wonderful place outside. Where are you sitting right now?
I'm at the 100 Men Hall. I'm staring at a gorgeous mural right now, but I was going to be in front of that, but it's so sunny that now I'm on the porch of the tin shed staring at it. In the shade.
Yeah. So this vision you had, tell me about how it's coming to fruition.
Well, it really, so last summer when the world shut down, and all of our plans got put on hold and all of our activities stopped, I put my girls in the car and we drove to Virginia Beach. We got COVID tested, knew we were, clear, got in the car, drove to Virginia Beach to visit cousins, and spent a week outside playing, in their pool and at the beach and whatever. And one of the first nights we were there, they said, let's go get ice cream downtown. And I was like, I've been to Virginia Beach and I don't remember any kind of downtown. I don't know. I don't know Virginia Beach very well, but I remember it being like lots of traffic, lots of cars, military, beach, but no kind of walkable community. But it was like a completely different place than I remembered. And the reason was because they have created this district called Vibe that came out of a festival called Vibe Festival, where they created 10 murals in 10 days. And as a result of that public art presence, businesses started popping up, like, really kind of boutique-y restaurants, not necessarily high-end, but definitely not chains. Virginia Beach had that already, but this little walkable community sort of came out of nowhere. And it really is the result of public art. So like Steve said, we have talked about needing more public art in Bay St. Louis for a long time. And it's just sort of one of those things that we talked about and kind of, there is some public art here, but when this MAC grant became available, we were like, we can do this. This really feels doable. And there, like you said before, there is no shortage of talent on the Gulf Coast. There are artists everywhere you look. And every time I bring friends in to visit or whatever, they're surprised. Like people who've never been to Mississippi, number one, a lot of them don't even know we have a coast. But number two, it's just not at all what they expected. And when Sandy Maggio and I started the gallery Smith and Lens, 6 years ago, people were like, where are these people coming from? These artists that you're showing? And we're like, they're here. They're right here. So we're so lucky to have that. And it's going to be incredible to have these daily reminders of these incredible artists and the diversity and, in who they are and what they do and what they make, and just have it be a daily reminder every day as we walk through our sweet, wonderful, art-filled town. We need more that's out and ready to view anytime,
Yeah. So, Anne, you're so articulate and passionate, and it has a very magnetic aspect to it. And I can understand how something like this can come to fruition when you have a vision for it. Before we move too far away from you, describe your art to me.
Well, I'm really a photographer. Well, I do like family portraits and fine art and, headshots and things like that. And I used to do weddings, but I retired from those. But when Sandy and I started Smith and Lens, so she's a silversmith and I'm a photographer, and she came up with the name Smith and Lens. So we wanted to have a place that always could show our work, and then we would host a different artist every month. So I had this big wall that was all my photography, and Sandy had a table filled with her beautiful silver jewelry. And selling photography is tough, and especially with the advancements of phones and stuff, a lot of people are doing what they want to with their photography. And I just don't know. I mean, I will always love photography and I will always think it's worth investing in, but it is a hard sell. So my friends Jesse and Kate invited me to have a show at the Greenhouse on Porter in Ocean Springs. And I had recently hosted a photography workshop with a friend who lived in Japan. And as part of that workshop, she brought in another artist who taught image transfer. So I had learned this new technique, and it was like a way of me merging my digital photography with analog printmaking. And then I started to add mixed media to it. So it was making, I had these digital images that could be reproduced infinitely, but the transfer process allows an element of chance, making each print, slightly different, and then adding mixed media on top. It brings it into a whole other category, I guess.
Smith and yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Finish. Yeah.
No, so I really kind of found my groove getting ready for that show at the Greenhouse, and then I just sort of have continued doing that, and it keeps evolving, and I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So Smith and Lens have a website that people can go and view your art?
Smithandlens.com, but we did shut our doors at the 2020. So we are sort of figuring out what that means. So, like at the moment, we're kind of dormant, but the website's still live. Sandy is still making her jewelry. I'm still making my work. Sandy would be sandymagiojewelry.com, and I'm AnnMaddenPhoto.com. But we're thinking we might do pop-up shows in the future as Smith and Lens. We also created Dolly Should that celebrates Dolly Parton in January, and Fest that celebrates Frida Kahlo in July. We're not doing it this summer, but we are really trying to pull it off for next summer and hoping to come back bigger and better. Last year, we had to pull the plug because of the pandemic, and the year before that, we almost had to pull the plug because of Hurricane Barry. But the year before that was straight magic. So we were really hoping that we can make that happen again in 2022.
And when you tell your story, I say this all the time on my show, but at the core of Mississippians, especially coastal Mississippians, is resiliency. It's part of our DNA. So we take the next punch and then we say, okay, now what do we have to work with? And then we figure it out. And that makes us strong. That makes us, incredibly passionate people and very determined people. But it's great to hear your story and your contribution.
Thank you.
Steve, what would you add to what Ann said? We got just, I think, maybe a minute or so left for this segment. But what would you say in closing about Ann Madden?
Yeah, well, the word is magic, Ann said that. And, what she does with the camera and just the way that she captures people's spirit on the film or digitally is amazing. But the whole way that she has taken it to the next level with the image transfer and adding all these layers is just so unique, and it really is magical.
I can sense that. There's something, you're lucky when you have so many incredible artists who are articulate and do their homework and explore the world and bring back ideas to Bay St. Louis. You never know what that melting pot of ideas is going to do to sort of help the renaissance of a community. And that's what we see taking place in Bay St. Louis as we speak, or in Hancock County in general. Hey, when we come back.
That's what Ann's done, Ann is...
Yeah.
No, I am one person of many, including you, Steve. That's very kind of you.
Well, y'all are being very nice to each other, but I see it clearly. You're helping contribute to a renaissance. When we come back, we're gonna have artist Julia Reyes join us and continue this fascinating conversation. We'll see you after this break.
Subscribe for free to the Coast View podcast on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking very hard-to-find PPE items to make our community a safer place. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. They were even sending thousands of dollars of PPE supplies free to local schools in need with help from other local business leaders. The next time your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider a local company that supports your ball teams, cheerleaders, and area homeless. Consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply, the local guys that keep your prices fair, your service and selection excellent, and your health our business. Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
Hey, South Mississippi, the future has arrived. It's 2021, and at J. Allen Toyota, we're here to serve you. Want to let you know that we have Allen's lifetime warranty on every new Toyota we sell. That also comes with Toyota Care. That's 2 years and 25,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. We have a great rental department. Our service department's ready to take care of your current vehicle. We're rolling out J. Allen certified pre-owned for 2021. You got to come to I-10 exit 38 right here in Gulfport. You're going to love what we have to offer. When you think Toyota, think Allen Toyota.
Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen. Okay. Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on SuperTalk Mississippi.
And now, it's Coast View with Ricky Mathews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota, Gulf Coast Business Supply, and AGJ Systems and Networks on SuperTalk 103.1 FM.
Welcome back to Coast View. We're having sort of a round robin today about the art community in coastal Mississippi, especially Hancock County. And, I never know where a conversation is going to go all the time. I'm inspired. The beauty of Coast View is as our listeners and those who are watching the videos, et cetera, watch this and they get inspired, I'm equally inspired. I mean, I don't know what to expect, but you always know that when you touch the art community that you're going to get something special, and it never fails. And, just a minute ago, Steve, you mentioned Julian Rankin, and, Julian's such a talented museum director. His ability to articulate the relationship between landscapes and art and interpretation and how it helps define our sense of place. He's a master at it, and I've learned a lot from him. And you got your inspiration from the Aura Museum. I mean, you just never know where the inspiration is going to come from. But we're going to talk next to Julia Reyes. She's a visual artist and a creative entrepreneur. And she's got very unique art here in coastal Mississippi. And we'll break. First of all, say good morning, Julia. How you doing?
Good morning.
It's
Thank
good
you for having me.
Hey, Steve, what would you say about Julia?
Well, when we put this grant proposal together for Mississippi Arts Commission, we're on a very short time frame, and we put out a call for artists. And we wanted to reach out to all the great artists across the Mississippi Gulf Coast. And we got 39 entries from, I think, 19 or 20 different artists. And some were artists that we had worked with before, some were new. But we were so delighted to see the entry from Julia. It's kind of a secret. We haven't unveiled the images yet, but Julia's mural is going to be painted on the side of our new headquarters. We just got this new building, this new brick and mortar facility, and Julia has really brought together everything in terms of this rich variety of color palettes and bringing in all these different sensations about this coastal community, about hands-on artwork. And, Julia is, again, like Anne, one of these people who works tirelessly behind the scenes. She started this the Almost Circle Gallery, and we're just so delighted to have her part of our mural team this year.
Julia's great. Where did your interest in art come from?
I've always been kind of interested in documenting and exploring. When I was a kid, I used to just be outside all the time and just want to document and observe. And so when people used to ask me, when I was a kid, what I wanted to be, I want to be an explorer. And so I feel like it's translated in ways, as an artist, I feel like it's always changing. It's always, something new. And I kind of like that lifestyle, Yeah. And so it's just evolved as I've gotten older in different mediums and in ways that it's come about. So
I say for the radio audience, where Julia is sitting, I'm not exactly sure what room it is, but to her right are a bunch of books. So I'm assuming you read a lot.
I do read a good amount. Sometimes I have multiple books I'm reading at once, but.
Well, I mean, that's part of your mind, and you never know where your mind is going to go. I mean, it's amazing. I was talking to someone the other day about her passion for barbecue, and I said, well, what do you read? And she says, well, I like European history. And the European history ends up bringing her over to Europe, and she goes to all these amazing towns, falls in love with Italy, and that then influences the way she cooks and the way she does her barbecue. It's pretty. You just never know where the inspiration is going to come from. Hey, describe your style of art.
Oh gosh, I would say one word to describe it. I like to take common objects from observations and sort of abstract them. So there's definitely in some of my work there's an element of abstraction, kind of deconstruction of things that are layered. But then sometimes there are some more representational things. I like a sense of play in my work too. You get the feeling of a play moment,
Yeah.
So, hey, Julia, I have a question for you.
Sure.
For the mural that you are producing for the Wall-to-Wall Festival, you're going to be painting with acrylic paint, right? But I'm just curious, what was the original done with? Because it's got these it kind of feels pastel-ish. Did you use pastel crayons, or what did you do?
I used acrylic design, but it's layered, so it might have there's some transparent layers in there, so it might kind of give the feeling of pastel, but it's done with paint, with acrylic. So
we'll talk a little more about that layering. I mean,
that's one thing in my work, especially working smaller on canvas. I tend to do a lot of layers, transparent layers. So since I've been doing a lot more mural work, I've been trying to kind of figure out how to translate that large, because, as everybody knows, there's, more of a challenge when you're, sometimes on top of scaffolding or, hovering, or it's just, there's a little more restraint there. And so by the nature of the situation, the work, you have to think about that in advance, which is kind of different for me, because I'm very much I work as I go, I improv. And so it's helped me to kind of think a little bit more, plan ahead, which I do internally, but.
Well, the challenge is.
Go ahead.
The challenges that you face, Julia, as a large-scale mural artist, I think are similar to all the other mural artists too, because I know that Andrew also, and some of the other artists, and Suzie, of course, did her initial picture on a canvas. And then the idea is, how do you translate that to this huge space? So, we're working with projectors and gridding things out so that we can take that magic from the canvas and put it on the big wall.
And then the texture factors in.
Yeah,
definitely.
Hey, Julia, what you're painting is described as a montage of elements depicting coastal life, and the fact that you're doing it on the side of the Mardi Gras designer Carter Church's former studio, which is now the new home of the arts, I bet that adds a little bit of, man, you just want to nail it to your mission.
And Bay St. Louis in general, I've always loved Bay St. Louis. I have family from there originally, and I don't know, it's just fitting. And also it being a design, it's more personal. I don't know, it just feels very special to be working there, and it being on the arts building as well.
So Julia, if somebody wants to learn more about your art, how can they see it and learn more about it?
My website is juliareyesart.com, but Instagram is probably more updated with in progress stuff.
Yeah.
Instagram these days at Julia Reyes Art. So
yeah, it's super. But yeah, Steve, when you hear people like Julia and Ann talk, and you think about what Ann said about what she discovered about the ability for art to literally create within itself an economic engine.
Yeah,
that's got to make you super excited to think about what the future holds.
It sure does. And you know what the future holds for Bay St. Louis, as you know, Ricky, is the Amtrak passenger rail service is coming in less than a year and a half. And what we're doing in the wall-to-wall project is just scratching the surface. It's a catalyst for the way that art is going to transform the visitor experience when they get off the train at the Bay St. Louis Depot. And we couldn't be more excited about that.
It is to see the evolution of great ideas. It's, the evolution of good vision. And if you think about artists have vision, for goodness sakes, and there's such a creative way to see things. And then you take 4 or 5 of them, put them in the room. There's no telling what's going to come as a result of that. That is for sure. Hey, so when we come back from the break, we're gonna ask Suzie Brown from Pass Christian to join us, and she's got quite a chore ahead of her, because we now have in Bay St. Louis a Flirty Girl boutique, and I came from New Orleans. I was publisher of the Times-Picayune and NOLA.com. I know the incredible story of Flirty Girl and what it's done and what it's going to mean to Bay St. Louis, or what it does mean to Bay St. Louis. And Suzie's a young person who's already making waves, and we'll learn more about her in just a second. We'll see you after this break.
You can also listen live to Super Talk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on your Amazon Alexa devices. Once you've enabled the skill, just say, Alexa, open Super Talk Mississippi Gulf Coast.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
Super Talk Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on Super Talk Mississippi.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. We're talking to Del Berra. Take me back to growing up and what it was like in the household with a dad like Yogi Berra.
You know, we grew up with his funny sayings. You know, I remember Dad managing the Mets, and me, Larry, and Timmy are watching the game on TV. And all of a sudden, two streakers run out of the stands on TV, and the camera slips away from them. So when he gets home, me, Larry, and Timmy say, "Hey, Dad, those streakers, what were they, boys or girls? We need to know." And Dad looked us right in the eye and said, "I couldn't tell. They had bags over their heads."
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on Super Talk Mississippi, the Super Talk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast View with Ricky Mathews on Super Talk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast View. Wow, what a show. You gotta love talking about the arts. You gotta love meeting artists and people who are involved in the art community in coastal Mississippi, so you can really understand the link between their passion and their art and their talent and their ability to inspire with the advancements along coastal Mississippi in terms of making this a great place to live, work, and play. They're helping contribute to creating a sense of place. And as Ann Madden pointed out, and what she learned, I guess, from Virginia Beach, is that when you do these murals like they're envisioning doing for Bay St. Louis as part of this festival, that these murals in and of themselves can become sort of this economic engine. They can create vitality. They can create this sense of place that people want to come to. And, one thing will lead to another, and more success will come to these communities. And you get a sense of that. So it's, you can enjoy the art, and that's certainly what we're supposed to do, enjoy the art. But in a conversation like this, you get a great connection between how the art can contribute to to the community in ways maybe you weren't thinking about before. Did I say that well, Steve?
You sure did. Yeah, absolutely. There are, again, it's this term creative placemaking is the buzzword that everybody uses, but it is really at its heart using art as a way to draw people together as an economic stimulator.
Yeah, no Got it. Hey, let's ask Suzie Brown from Pascrest Jan. She's a local student. She's done murals at the Starfish Cafe in Claremont Harbor, and she's also her work is known for being bold and vibrant and bursting with energy. And she's just 17 years old and contributing in a significant way to this project. Good morning, Suzie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Susie's in her car. So we're making the best of the situation. So how did you get inspired by art, Suzie?
I mean, I've always been an artist, I guess, since I was little. But my biggest inspiration, in addition to all of the like local artists that we have thriving in this area, I would say is probably Ashley Longshore out of New Orleans. Her style is pretty similar to mine, and I just love all the vibrant colors and the celebration kind of aspect she has to all of her work. So that's definitely been my biggest inspiration.
Well, you know what's interesting about your work? You heard what I say going into the break about Flirty Girl Boutique, but do you feel an added sense of, like I said to hang on just a minute, to Julia just a second ago, you've really got to nail this?
Yes, in several respects, because I mean, my entire family's from New Orleans, so I kind of know about Flirty Girl too. And even just being that it's on Main Street, which is pretty much the main like foot traffic area of Bay St. Louis, it's definitely going to be a lot of people seeing it. So I just really want to make sure I can do justice to that piece.
It's going to be there for a long time, and it's going to help sort of define your work. I mean, all these murals are going to do that for sure. You got to be thrilled that you're part of this project. What does it ultimately mean to you to have the opportunity to contribute to a project like this?
I don't know. It's all very exciting, I guess. Like, I've grown up in Bay St. Louis. I go to school in Bay St. Louis. So it's like, even just walking around downtown, I never imagined that a piece of mine would be even on that scale in a place like Bay St. Louis where everyone can see it. It's all very exciting.
Oh, no doubt. So Steve, when you contemplated Suzie Brown being part of this project, tell me sort of what went through your mind?
Well, so Ricky, it was really interesting because we put out this call for artists to try to, it was very kind of loose, but we said, we asked the artists, challenged them to make bold statements that represented the diversity of our community, right? And that could be interpreted in a number of levels. And the variety and the depth and the vibrancy of the entries was amazing. And we had not thought of a particular artist for a particular location. We have these businesses who have signed up that have walls available, and then we have the artists, and it just so happened Julia's piece fit perfect on our arts building, and Susie's piece fit perfect on Flirty Girl. And I don't know what to say. Of all the murals we're doing, I'm certain that Susie's is going to be the most photographed because of the central location and because of how bold it is and how incredible it is. And so we're so excited about what Susie's doing.
And she's only 17 years old. I mean, wow.
That's part of our mission, Ricky, is, that we support artists who are trying to make a living, but we're also really trying to do everything we can to inspire, encourage, and promote the next generation of artists. And Suzie is just a star among them. And there's other young artists that we're working with as well. And it's great. It's, last night we were there. How late were you there, Suzie? Till midnight tracing that image?
Like 11, and we probably stayed till midnight.
Yeah.
Hey, Suzie, I have a question for you. At what point in your life did you begin to sense that you have a gift?
I mean, I've always been a very creative person in several respects. I do musical theater, I dance, and I do visual art. So the arts has always, and like creative things in general, have always come kind of naturally for me. But I guess it's kind of when I got to my high school level art classes, and working with my teacher, Amanda Bush. She's an artist from Philadelphia, and she has really inspired me to pursue art in a more serious manner and like looking into college programs for me and stuff like that. So definitely like just taking it more seriously once I got to these more advanced level art classes.
Well, that is awesome, and congratulations on getting this opportunity to do Flirty Girl. What a cool thing that's going to be. See, we're kind of
Suzie, I got a question for Suzie.
Yeah, go ahead. Sure.
So, Suzie, without giving it away, can you talk a little bit about the content of your mural, its inspiration?
Absolutely. So the inspiration for my mural is my friend Mitri, who just graduated from Mississippi State. And he has always been a very authentic person. And that's what the piece kind of celebrates is diversity and authenticity and being yourself, which I feel Bay St. Louis is definitely a place where you can do that, especially in the arts community that we have down here. So without giving too much away, it's just about celebrating, who you are and being unapologetically yourself and just being excited about that.
Great question, Steve. Thank you for saying that. In the short time we have left, Steve, what does bringing all this together mean to you?
Well, Ann and I have been trying to paint these walls in Bay St. Louis for 4 years, right? And we've been doing a small mural here, a small mural there. But to me, there's two concepts, Ricky. It's a critical mass, right? We've got all this stuff happening. We're engaging the community. We're having hands-on activities. We're celebrating coming back to normal. And the second part of it, Ricky, is this is just a catalyst. This is not a one-off. This is just the beginning. There are so many other business owners that want to get on board. We're going to do it again next year, even bigger and better. And we're going to have murals everywhere.
We're going to have murals everywhere. Hey, Kyle, real quick, bring Ann back in if you don't mind. And Ann, unmute your phone if you don't mind. I'm just curious about, let's see, I kind of threw a curveball to Kyle, but he'll make it happen. There you go. Look at all my artists all at one time. Terrific. There you all three are. But Ann, in closing, I just wanted to ask you, since you've been a real part of this vision, as you hear both, obviously as you hear Steve talk about how proud he is, but you see the pride that Julia and Suzie sort of represent and what they're bringing to this. How does that make you feel?
Well, it's amazing. I mean, it's been a long time coming, but it's also always been here. So as much as we talk about the creative economy, this is a full representation of it. And then it also adds civic pride. I mean, I think that this is one of those things where we keep saying we're, this art-filled place, but we just need the daily reminder, like I said before. So this is very exciting that it gets to actually come to fruition and it's all happening at the same time. It's just very exciting.
And let me tell you something. There was a magic moment that happened a couple of days ago in a conversation I was having with Shari and Craig Davis. They're the ones who developed the Jackson Pearl in Ocean Springs, and then they have another development they're going to do in Biloxi. And they came here from Southern California. They had a very successful business in Southern California. And we got into this conversation about what people perceive about us, but when they come here, they see something different. What the perceptions of Mississippi are totally not fair, but she was so articulate when she said that when you come here, you see people who are accepting. You come here to see people who accept you for who you are. And these are caring people and empathetic people. And she went on. We're actually going to post that segment of a conversation because it was so powerful what she said. And I couldn't help but think about what she was saying when Suzie was talking about her mural in particular. But there's so many incredible messages that come out of today's meeting: the connection with community, the appreciation of art, the way to be inspired by art, the way that art can be an economic driver, and the work that the arts community is doing in Bay St. Louis in particular. And I can't thank all of you enough for joining me today. And my sense is we'll come back together again. I think once these murals get done, we need to have some special shows surrounding each one of you and others that are involved in this project. So Steve, Barney, thank you so much for joining me today. And to all of the artists who joined us today, thank you so much for doing that as well. Y'all have a great day.
You too. Thanks.
You bet. And we'll see you tomorrow.